Welcome back to Needy and Normal. Thanks for being here. If you've ever been in a long distance relationship, or maybe you're in one right now, or you have a friend or family member, someone you care about who's in a long distance relationship, or thinking about one, I promise it's possible. And I'm here to give you some of the best tips that I've learned the hard way, and I'm going to give them to you today for free. Take them, use them, share them. They work, they're helpful. It will help you not lose your mind in a long distance relationship. Buckle up.
This is Needy and Normal. I'm your host, Ashley Levering, mom, wife, and life coach. After years of coaching and learning from my own life, one thing is clear: meeting your needs is essential for living your best life. Here, we'll talk about your needs and not only learn to accept them, but also tend to them without guilt. You're not needy. It's normal. Let's get into it.
You might have listened to the first episode, the very first episode, way back when this began 80 episodes ago. And I do give a history of my marriage with my husband, Jeff. We met in college. I'm just giving you a quick recap. We met in college. We dated for about 8 years, went through a lot together, including some long distance, and got married in 2012. And 7 months of our first year of being married, we spent apart. So this long distance relationship thing was taken up a level to a long distance marriage. It happens all the time. It happens in military families and sports families, all kinds of different scenarios where a job or a certain circumstance, family, something keeps you away from your partner. And you might go into it knowing that's a possibility. You might go into it having no idea that could become a possibility. I'm going to run through the best tips I've learned and lived and now taught in a long distance relationship. Now, I'm not technically in a long distance relationship now, as in my husband and I live in the same house, we have the same family, we're together. However, because of the nature of his job in sports, he is a broadcaster, as you probably know if you've been listening, for Major League Baseball as well as college football and college basketball. So he's traveling more than half the year. I think I still qualify in ways as having a long distance relationship. Here's why. The tools I'm going to tell you about apply. Absolutely 100% apply to the life we live and the lifestyle we have. And you might find yourself in a similar situation where maybe you share a home with your partner, but they're gone quite a bit. Or maybe you are in a truly long distance relationship where you have to organize phone calls and visits and time together very meticulously throughout the year because you live apart. And maybe there's an end game, right? Maybe there's a plan finally to come together, and it's a contract situation where, okay, eventually this will end and we'll be back together. So there's all kinds of different scenarios where using these tools and tips does apply, because the point is you're away from each other. How do you continue having a relationship, right? For many years, Jeff and I would rely on the off season, baseball off season, to have a 9-to-5 normal go to bed together every night kind of marriage. And that changed the more in demand he became as a broadcaster. And so we've had to learn a lot. And I finally found the amount of gratitude I needed for the lessons that have been taught to us as a couple, going into every single year knowing good and well that there would be no actual break. We would have to weave in and focus on our marriage all year long to the best of our abilities with the lifestyle that we are in, which is with Jeff traveling more than half the time. Now, of course, you might know also we have 2 children and we're based in Wisconsin, and we try to keep things as normal as possible. But everybody has needs, right? That's why we're here. So we figure out what we need, what the house needs, the kids need, each other, as a couple. We've really had to try hard and effort towards figuring out how to do all this. Now, there's also an episode that Jeff and I did together. He came on as my guest. I think it was episode 52. Go check that out too, because we do dive deeper into how we do this marriage thing with the kind of life we have. It's not normal, and it's not for the week. I hate to say it like that. You really do have to be pretty tough. But not only that, you have to be really willing to put in the work and put in the effort and learn about yourself and learn about the other person and figure out what each other needs. What I'm saying is relationships, regardless of long distance or not, needs strength, needs effort, and needs belief. I was going to put this as the very last tip, but I'm going to start things off with this one. You must believe in your relationship. If I've learned lots of powerful things, but if nothing's kept me going more, it's this belief that your relationship is valuable and worthy and can go the distance. And you have to believe in your relationship. I mean, that alone is the motivation often we need to go through what feels hard, what feels like sacrifice. But if you really believe, it's worth it. Okay, let's continue. I will say,
you may use all of these tools and they may work beautifully, but you do still have to be open to personal growth and to figuring out what works and what doesn't work for you. So while this is a lesson in how to be a couple apart and how to do this long distance thing and obviously transition back into being together when you have the ability to be in the same room together. But this is also a reminder that you still have to do the work for yourself, on you. And I will mention that. So here we go.
Number 2, and really in no particular order, set times, if possible, for touching base each day. You may be the couple that needs to say good morning, talk in the afternoon, say good evening, say good night. You may need to touch base like 4 or 5 times. And that's okay. That can become very regimented. It can become your pattern. You may have one touch base. It may be once a week. I mean, depending on the situation, it could be like in a military situation. It might be once, every couple weeks. I don't know. But make sure you make a plan for whatever that is, whenever it is, and how often it is, right? So make sure you're touching base when you're apart. And it could be very simple. It could be a 2-minute conversation. It could be a sweet text. It could just be an informational text. Hey, this is what's happening right now in our day. Either way, you're staying connected. That's the point. Make plans. Make plans. If you can make plans, make the plans. Have something to look forward to. It could be plans to have a phone call or a FaceTime or a Zoom. It could be plans for when they come home, when you meet on vacation, when you come for a visit. Make the plans. Don't say we'll figure it out. One of the things Jeff and I started doing, honestly more recently, is we call them kitchen catch-ups. So he'll come home from work or a long trip and we'll sit in our kitchen, usually sipping something, and we'll catch up and have a good thorough reconnect where you tell me what's been going on, I'll tell you what's been going on, because usually when we have our quicker catch-ups, our touch bases, they're fast, right? And it's just quick, and I'm here and I'm thinking about you and I love you. What's going on? Catch me up. Okay, talk to you later. So when he gets home, we can actually focus on each other and give each other that undivided attention. So make plans for that. Make the plans. It's that non-distracted time face-to-face to reconnect. Whatever they are, make those plans. Stay connected with clear and direct communication. This goes without saying, but this is also the one thing that lacks when there is a long distance or separation in a relationship. You forget how to be clear and communicate. I'm feeling this way. I'm going through this thing. I'd like to have this conversation with you. Whatever it is, be clear and be communicative. The more you express the details, the quicker it is to solve a problem or reconnect or come together on whatever the thing is you need to talk about. Real life still happens even when you're apart from each other, right? But if we hold back information and we don't say everything directly and honestly, that creates a divide. That creates the disconnect. So be direct. Why cause harm to the relationship by withholding or not being clear about what's going on or how you're feeling? The important stuff matters. Let it matter out loud. Okay, next one. Respect the timing and the headspace of each other when you're going through a moment where you have to have a tougher conversation. So for best outcomes, think about the timing in the day, in the work day. Maybe there's a time zone situation. Maybe their headspace is not good, and that would not be the right time to have that direct communication conversation. So you can always test the waters. Hey, how are you doing? Are you in a good mindset and a good headspace to have kind of a difficult conversation? Because there's something I'd like to talk to you about. And if the answer is no, I'm in a very bad mood, which is a challenge in itself to be able to say that. Yeah, I'm not in a good headspace. I'm not in a good place right now to have this conversation. If that is told to you, you respect it. Okay, got it. When do you think we could have this conversation? Because I want to make sure we air this out, we get to the bottom of it, whatever. But it's a respectful way to say, I'm not okay, and yet I still acknowledge you have something to talk about, or vice versa, right? So we're respecting the timing, we're respecting, where your head's at to have certain conversations. Conflict happens, things happen, no matter whether you're in person or not. But I promise you, and this is one of the key things that Jeff and I had to learn, if you respect each other by respecting the timing and how we're feeling in that moment, it goes a lot better when it's a better time to have those conversations. They don't go away, but you can still respect the timing. Okay, next. Allow yourselves to miss each other. It's so easy to try and toughen up. It's not easy, but this is what we think we're supposed to do. Toughen up and pretend like everything's fine and not miss them, but really deep down we totally miss them, right? Miss them, miss each other, and say it to each other. I miss you. It's not to put on guilt. It's not to make them feel bad. It's not to be extra needy. It's just true. I miss you. I'm missing you today. I love hearing that. And I think my husband likes to hear it too. Hey, I miss you. We're missing you today. You don't have to overuse it, but you don't have to save it. You don't have to tuck it in the back and pretend it doesn't exist. If you miss them, say it. It's okay. This is a big one. Do your own thing. Be productive in your own life, with your own personal work, with your own career, social life, self-care. Do your own stuff. Be productive in your own world, regardless of them being gone or not. And it doesn't mean just do stuff that involves everybody, the family, your partner. It means do stuff for you too. Do stuff that creates a life without them. I know, sounds kind of strange, but at the same time, it's very grounding. It's very reassuring that you have your own back, that you can do your own thing when they're gone, when the inconsistency of your relationship is a very present thing. You can find consistency in yourself and how you spend your time and what you do and how independent you choose to be and how productive you choose to be with your professional life and your personal life. So be social, still go out, go do stuff. You know how many times I've been the third, fifth, seventh, 11th wheel? I still go do stuff, right? It's fun to be invited to be the extra wheel, instead of looking at it that way. Go be social, whatever. I can't tell you how many girls' nights and girls' coffees and friend gatherings I still have, even when Jeff's gone, and it's better that way. I light up when I connect with other people, because when I miss him and I really would love to connect with him, and I can at least go connect with friends and family when they're in town, and I have long distance family relationships too, so this kind of works for me all the way around. But do your own thing. It's important. Be supportive, but also expect support. So yes, go do that thing. I support you. And here's the thing I want to do, support me back. So in a relationship, that goes both ways. So if you're the person who's out of town and you're traveling or you're gone, you would want your spouse or your partner to support you in that adventure, right? But same goes for them. So whatever they have going on, support them too. And even if it's not as easy to physically be there to support them, you can always ask that question, hey, how can I support you? Or maybe it's just words of encouragement, or just saying, I know that there's that thing you want to do. Go do it. That'd be awesome. Good for you, right? So be supportive of one another as equally as you possibly can, even if the things you're doing are different in the grand scale, right? If one person's gone and traveling and the other person's home, just because those are different scenarios, different levels of things that need to be supported, they still need support. Does that make sense? Okay, moving on to boundaries. Yes, even in a loving partnership, long distance or not, you absolutely have to have boundaries. And I've explained this before, but the basics is what's okay, what's not okay. So, especially when you're apart from each other and time is limited when you're talking or able to actually see each other or look at each other in the face, use your boundaries. And this goes with, the tip about your headspace. If you want to have a conflicting or, tough conversation, if you say, hold on, this is not the time, I'm not in a really good headspace, I've had a hard day, I'm not in the right mood for that, that's using your boundaries. And that's teaching your partner how to treat you and how to handle you and how to love you. So boundaries really matter. And that's just one tiny example. But this kind of filters throughout all of these tips is, managing and respecting yourselves and each other through utilizing your boundaries. Here's what's okay for me, here's what's not, and verbalize it by using that direct communication. Like for me, I might say, I'm really missing you today. Would you have 5 minutes or 10 minutes later today for us to connect and really talk about stuff? That might be a request that I make with direct communication. And Jeff has the option to say, yeah, I hear you. I would love to connect with you too. I miss you too, but now's not the time. And then it's back on me to say, okay, and move on and allow that to be okay and respect his boundaries and respect that that's where he's at. That is important. And it doesn't take away or minimize the importance of the thing that's needed in the relationship by putting pause on the moment. I recognize this is going to happen, but we need to hold off. Boundaries, they're useful and they teach us how to treat each other. This one's fun. Send the intimate photos. Do it. Send a cute kissy face. Send a more detailed photo. Keep things spicy. Why not? As far as a romantic relationship goes, if you're not allowed to hug each other, kiss each other, be next to each other, sometimes you have to get creative. Phone sex is still a thing. Sexting counts. Do it. Find a way to become a little more comfortable with it. Go outside of your comfort zone. See what works for you as a couple. You can still be intimate even from a distance. So, and that's obviously, being close and talking about things that matter to you. That's a form of intimacy. But so is that physical intimacy that you don't have when you're apart. I wasn't not going to address it. So sexting's not dead, okay? All right, moving on. Being truthful, even if it's scary, saying the hard things, even if you're away from each other and feel like, well, shoot, I should probably do this in person. If you don't really have an opportunity to say honest things that need to come up in person, just be honest on the phone. Now, I understand we are in the texting era, and that is what we do. We text all the time. We send each other Instagram messages. We send each other silly memes. We text each other. We don't use our actual voices as much as we used to because technology has advanced so much. I understand. But as much as you can hear each other's voices and use FaceTime, actually seeing each other's faces, the better. So if that is your opportunity to speak some truth that can't wait, then do it. Don't wait. And this goes without saying too, but sometimes we do need to be reminded. I love you never gets old. Saying I love you doesn't lose its glimmer and sparkle and meaning if you say it a bunch of times. So don't worry about holding back your feelings, especially the good ones. Especially the good ones. And don't wait. The point is, don't hold back, even when you're apart, because it matters. And I'm going to circle back to number 1 again. Believe in your relationship. Believe that it has a chance. And that's how it's going to work. Along with obviously using other tools to stay connected and being fully prepared to take on the challenge of personal growth and learning how to be an independent person in a relationship, because that's what it ends up being. When you're in a long distance relationship or one where one or both travel, you have to learn how to be independently intimate. I know you're in a relationship you're intimate with each other as much as you possibly can, but you still have to stand on your own 2 feet, feel good in your own skin, have your own thing, know yourself well enough to make use of those boundaries, speak your truth, and say I miss you, say I love you. It doesn't run out of meaning, I promise. If you would like to continue this conversation and get deeper about your specific relationship, and perhaps there's a specific scenario that you're trying to move through and understand better, and maybe it's about deciding whether or not to get into a long distance relationship, or boom, it just hit you in the face. You didn't think you would have to do the long distance thing, but now you are. You want to get deeper on this conversation, let me know. It's something I could help you through as someone who's living it, but also as a life coach who's been doing this work for years. And I help people move through change and still stand on their own 2 feet and prioritize themselves. It matters. Your needs matter because you matter. Thanks for being here. Take care. Thank you so much for listening to the Needy and Normal podcast. If you liked today's episode, please rate and review the show and send your favorite episode to a friend. If you're interested in coaching, visit ablifecoaching.com. I am accepting new clients now, and initial discovery sessions are complimentary.